All right, where last we left off, we had been catfished. Um, our contract with Lamo is to get on board a freighter ship, which has been locked in Go for an indefinite amount of time, and I believe sabotage something on board that ship. Lamo wasn't very clear about what that was. However, the only way Cord knows, wrong character sheet. The only means of getting into Go that Cord is aware of is by accessing a club that actually occupies one of the perimeter walls of Go. Just to recap, Go is sort of like a ground zero where a lot of like dirty bombs allegedly went off. It's an irradiated wasteland in the core of Psi. It's heavily guarded. People aren't generally allowed to leave or not leave. Well, but they can't leave either. But citizens inside Psi generally aren't allowed into Go. And therefore, finding the means to get in there is going to be a problem. That's the target, I guess. So Cord's only option then was to try to find a way into this nightclub called My Wall. And the way to look for that was to search basically like social media, the whatever serves as like the internet, Psi Reddit or whatever, for like a lead on getting into My Wall. And Cord unwittingly attracted the attention of two, I guess I'm going to call them police officers, detectives who are charged. They're on like a special task force with specifically bringing down My Wall. And they've presented themselves online to Cord as patrons of My Wall who have regular access to the club. And now we're moving. Our opening scene is going to be Cord entering a ubiquitous casino inside Psi called the Lucky Flight. If you have the book, you've probably heard of it. The Lucky Flight is the location of the introductory adventure. But for our purposes, Cord's contacts told him, let's meet up at the Lucky Flight, and we'll talk in like the booth area over by the slot machines. So Cord enters the Lucky Flight during its open hours and is immediately sort of besieged with crazy light shows and too loud music and a lot of zombified guests out on the dance floor. We have to bypass the stage, which I believe is that circular the circular stage, and swing around to the slot machines where Cord's contacts are waiting for him. Cord is greeted by a pair of individuals. One of them she is heavyweight, her cheeks are ruddy, and she wears these very classic looking glasses, and it sort of takes Cord by surprise because is who wears glasses these days? Why wouldn't you just get it corrected or your eyes replaced, right? So there's clearly like a message there with the choice to wear glasses, and her partner is a man with white hair, and immediately sort of like leans in uncomfortably close to Cord because he can't bring his voice louder than a whisper. And he says, you made good time. I'm glad you're here. Let's talk over here by the machines. And the pair lead Cord out behind a couple of the slot machines, and actually reveal that some of the slot machines can be moved. The woman manipulates like the arm, the pole arm mechanism of the slot machine in a couple, like she like pulls it down quickly twice and then pushes it up, and that causes the slot machine to sort of like swing open, creating I'm picturing like a makeshift barrier, like almost like a Faraday cage that the three of them step into, and abruptly all the noise and chaos of the Lucky Flight casino sort of falls behind, and it's a little bit uncomfortable to be surrounded by such quiet. It's also very uncomfortable because it's hard to fit three bodies inside this very narrow space between a couple of slot machines. The whispering man introduces himself. He goes, my name is Granger, and her name is Song. You're Cord, aren't you? Cord nods and says, look, I'd rather skip the pleasantries if we can. I'm kind of under a time crunch, and I need to get to my wall quickly for some personal matters. Can Cord, in his way, because he hasn't been good at this so far, can we make a good impression on these two? Maybe take them by surprise. These are two police officers who have put down Cord as sort of like a mark, but maybe his forwardness will give them reason to hesitate. I'm going to mark this down as a... let's look at difficulties here. 14, it's difficult. They've done this kind of thing before. So let's check. I'm just going to roll 2d20 right off the bat. A 20 and a 1. Oh, that's interesting. A weak hit. You succeed, but there's a complication. Yeah, Granger, the whispering man with white hair, thought maybe he could roll Cord over, right, and just sort of fold him in as like a mark, like someone to get into my wall and get them in, right? Because they're known by the people who run my wall. My wall is very aware that side police would that be side PD, are out to shut them down. So they were kind of hoping to recruit Cord against his will. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. At least not as easily as Granger and Song were thinking. Granger's like, yeah, we can get you into the club, no problem. We're on the distro list for the updating password. Well, we can't just hand it out to anybody. Cord isn't good at hiding his frustration at that. His bald face immediately sort of turns to a grimace because he kind of already knows the way that this is going, and at the corner of his eye. He almost doesn't see it. Song, she when Cord's demeanor goes upset, Song goes to a smile. She kind of takes pleasure in seeing that. At any rate, Granger is like, oh no, nothing too much. We just need a small favor, but it is, of course, a little bit urgent. I'm missing something important to me. Some kid made off with a data tablet of mine. It has some sensitive information on it, and I'm gonna need that data. I'm gonna need it to disappear, right? What you do with the kid, that's up to you. And Cord is like, well, hold on, I don't kill people. He sort of holds up his hands. I'm not really into that. And that's where Song steps in and puts on a little bit of pressure. And she says, look, if you really do need your way into this club, you're gonna have to do something for us. And that's just how it's gonna be. It's yes or no. You have to know right now. And Cord says, all I gotta do is just get rid of the data tablet, right? Like you don't need it recovered. You just need whatever's on it gone, right? Yeah, I could give a shit about the tablet. I just can't let that media to leave the device. It's proprietary. And everybody inside the Faraday cage sort of exchanges a knowing look that proprietary in this case means it's compromising. And Cord is already imagining it's, like embarrassing footage of Granger or Song or whatever. And Cord just kind of rolls his eyes at this and says, fine, but do you have any leads? Let's go to our card orc. I missed using these cards last session. These helped a lot. Do Granger and Song have a lead on the courier, the thief, who's made off with Granger's tablet? Burn the first card. Even odds says no. Granger goes, no, he was wearing some kind of identity, some kind of a mask. My car's cameras weren't able to pick up on him. He was censored. And Cord kind of does a double take at that, because the only cars... Well, let's make a knowledge check for Cord on that. It's a 12. Double hit, yeah. Something's odd about that. The only kind of cars that carry footage like that he knows of are usually like police cruisers. Or the hyper-paranoid. So there's something about this couple that's throwing Cord off a little bit at this point. He's a little bit suspicious. But he needs access to this club. So what better is he going to do? Okay, well, Cord, he says, okay, well, I'm going to need your... I'm going to need to spoof your RCD so I can see if I can link up with a data tablet if it's online and start following it. Basically log into his accounts and all that stuff. And Granger hands over not his RCD, but like a battered secondary, outdated sort of set of goggles. And again, this is weird. Like, who carries it around? It doesn't match up with the tech that he was describing on his car. Cord thinks about this as he like snatches the goggles out of his hand and hurries away from our two Psi PD officers whose disguises are barely holding together. Let me make a note. We're just calling these guys Psi PD. And at least in this campaign, Psi does have its own police force. Although I'll bet they're more like mercenaries for hire. Which also, side note, makes me think that this task force about bringing down my wall, there's some sort of personal or political agenda about it. We'll follow that up later. Cord leaves Lucky Flight the way he came in. And does that thing where he, he's got a subway pass for 1 month. Might as well use it. And he goes back to sort of circling the neighborhood on public transportation in order to keep a low profile. Is he going to be bothered while he's riding the subway? Just double checking there's not like I think I remember rolling I think I just used the yes, no oracle out of here. No big deal. I'd say it's unlikely. No. His ride on the subway passes without incident, and that gives him time to sort of boot up his 2 cyber decks. He probably boots up his personal one for this. And slots in like the connection to the RCD he was given. It's going to need to hack into it in order to get a lead on this thief. I think I kind of want to pose this as a... Okay, let's level set. We now have a job. It's very straightforward. It's very annoying, actually. We have an annoying job. We need to find the courier, which will be step 1. So find and get the device. So our DR for hacking this, for this mission, our DR by default is going to be 10. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. So slotting in the RCD and trying to track down this missing tablet that's connected to the RCD. It's on the same account. I want to handle this as a chase. It's a pursuit. Not like a foot chase, it's a pursuit. It says use a D20 to track the distance between the target and the pursuer. The distance is great. So it's a 15. We used these dice before, they're hard to read. The distance is a 15. 15, 15, 15. There it is. And we will need to get it down to a 0 in order to capture or catch up to our courier. We are a little bit faster than the courier because Cord is an accomplished hacker. He may be sort of burnt out. Get it? He's a burnt hacker. That's a joke. He may be a little bit fatigued by it, but he's still got it where it counts. And this is going to be a net running pursuit right now. So we're testing knowledge. Tell you what, I know what I'm going to do. Let's get this bigger die. Maybe that'll show up on the camera. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Our distance is 15. So we're going to slot in and start like tracking a connection between the RCD we were given and the missing tablet. We get a weak hit. Change the distance by a D6. Okay. 14 tells me that we establish a connection, but immediately realize that our the train that Cord is on is going in like the clear wrong direction. So he gets off at the next exit. And this time he ignores the pile of body bags at the subway terminal. And instead, once he gets above ground, tries his luck again. So DR10, knowledge check. That is a double fail. You're losing. Decrease the distance by d6 if you're ahead. Increase it if you're behind. Okay. Oof. Up to 17. So we backtrack a little bit. The signal is not good here. We are at risk for losing it. Is the thief aware that we're tracing them now? Even odds? No. Okay. On foot with cyberdeck out, Cord starts meandering the streets trying to sort of close in on the signal. Just take that too. DR10, that's a hit. Strong hit. That was a 16 or something like that. It was change the distance by 2d6. Okay, it was a 5. A 5, 10. Ooh, okay. We immediately start, I'm doing that again. Cord immediately starts closing the distance on the courier. In fact, I think now that we're less than halfway, we are in proximity to the hacker. Where have we found it? I'm going to switch to a new product. I have it online on my iPad here, which is not. There we go. Going to augmented reality. I don't know how well this is going to show up on the screen, but augmented reality is a city kit for generic cyberpunk role-playing games. It's all about generating like neighborhoods and people and stuff like that. I think it's really aimed at Cyberpunk Red, but it'll work just fine for our purposes. I've actually used this before with Mothership and like that a lot. Anyway, it has this cool drop table, which we take a couple of d10s, and by rolling on the drop table, we'll see what kind of objects are in our neighborhood. I'm gonna roll 3d10. In this neighborhood, there's a new media company, the public transport hub, which is where we just got off in a hotel. Okay, so now we go to some cards. This might get a little too complicated, but we're trying stuff. Hotel. Subway. Terminal. And a media company. So there's like a news broadcasting station in this neighborhood. And the unique feature about each, the hotel is under construction. The broadcasting station is obvious gang turf. So it's probably really dangerous there. And the subway terminal that Core just left out of is very crowded. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna gamify finding this thief a little bit, because Cord is sort of like following like a radar signal. He doesn't know what this guy looks like. I'm running out of space really quickly. And he's in one of these 3 buildings in the area. I think this makes sense to me. How do I want to check which one he's in? Search for something. No, that's like searching pockets. I'm thinking, okay, so we're starting our search and the subway terminal is crowded. Let's go back to this hacking roll. There's DR10. It's a weak hit. Down by D6. It's down to a 2. Evens are odd, for which no, he's still searching the terminal because we were successful here. A weak hit would tell me, or a fail would tell me that we're not in the right area. So Cord has come out of the like below ground area where the subways actually run, and is in like this mid-level, almost like a reverse mezzanine thing of a crowded subway terminal. One picture, and there's like small shops, food trucks, and stuff like that. And then here and there, you can actually go up to the ground level and then like out into the streets itself. I think I'm retconning a little bit. I think I had argued that Cord got off the train to find this. This still kind of makes sense. It's fine. It's fine. Let's just go with it. Super strong hit. Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, 8. We caught up to him. He's in the terminal. So I didn't need these at all. Maybe I didn't need these at all. But what is here in the terminal? Let's turn the subway terminal into its own let me just see, this is the problem with using like too many resources. You kind of flustered in real time. There's a building maker right here in this oracle. So we're going to flesh this out a little bit. Yeah, okay. What? 124. Let's look at 124. I'm trying to figure out like where specifically in the terminal mid-level did Cord find the thief. Oh yeah, this will work. Let's roll a d20. 7. Hideout or some sewer tunnels. Interesting. Okay. Cord follows the signal to like a maintenance only sort of doorway, and past that, the terminal, the subway like the shopping area immediately gives way to like the cinder block and concrete like maintenance tunnels that run between all these kinds of places, and it's full of just like the ugly emergency lights. You can hear dripping water somewhere in the distance, but the signal's strong here somewhere. The courier somewhere down here. What else is here? Room filler, D12. Man, those 3 like neighborhood areas did not work out like I thought they would. A strong enemy. Oh shit. Okay. Strong enemy. Okay, it's the thief's gang boss is here, and you know, Cord sort of turns a corner and comes across a or 1d8 here. Comes across like a makeshift hideout. It's just this little like hole in the wall, and the courier, I keep saying courier, the thief is in the middle of like handing over. I'm not going to need a map for this. Is in the middle of handing over. He's got like a messenger bag of like stuff, and he's just sort of like shaking it out and dumping it right at this gang boss's feet. And sure enough, one of the objects that falls is a data tablet, and the gang boss. Let's get some description for this guy. Let's go to style. Let's get a feature. Feature. 70. Okay. He's speaking with a foreign accent, which I'm not even going to try. And he has a pronounced amount of piercings all over his face. He's in the middle of sort of like pushing the toe of his boot through the pile of just junk that the thief has turned up. And that's right when Cord comes around the corner. I can check this off. First part's done. And there's sort of like a moment of pause as Cord and the thief and the gang boss sort of exchange looks. And Cord gestures to the pile and says, there's something in there that I need. I'm going to need you to give that back to me. Test presence, DR10. Strong hit, yeah. The thief he's immediately apologetic, and he's like, "Oh no! I don't take anything from it." Like he immediately jumps to like defending his behavior, even though he hasn't been accused of anything. And he says, "Oh no, I found these things. I didn't take anything." And Cord is like, "Hold on, I didn't accuse anybody of anything. We don't have to get ugly here. We can just talk about getting back what I'm looking for." And the gang boss in his strange accent, he's not from Psy, which is rare, right? It's hard to get in and out of the city. Says, "Well, what is it? We've got so much here." And Cord, following the like augmented reality view through his goggles, is able to point out that the tablet that has a connection to the RCD set that he has on his person. Oh, just that old thing. Oh, just a data tablet. Well, this thing is, and the guy like bends down to pick it up and sort of turns it over, and he's immediately goes for the shakedown. He says, something like this. Someone would consider this to be a bit of a collector's item these days. I'd be remiss if I just let it go. And Cord is like, well, hold on, because we don't have a lot of money right now. Cord is hesitant. It's junk. It's not a collector's item. What are you talking about? Let's see. Another presence roll to talk the gang boss into admitting that it's just a junk tablet, and he's not going to try to fleece Cord. No, weak fail. I'm not just going to let it go, sir. If you're going to want this, you're going to have to pay up. Something like this. Let's see, how much does an expensive cyberdeck cost? I think that would be what would be in the inventory list as the closest approximation. here. Cyberdeck Plus. 1,000 credits. Oh, God. Cord blanches at that and thinks back to the... well, no. Last session, he got the cred stick from Lamo with the remainder on it. Let's see. I believe it was like 8,000 total, and he prepaid 1,000. It's 10,000. Wait, that's session 2. There we go. His notes are so concise. That's right, I didn't do the notes on paper for the first session. I looked at photos. I'm going to use dry erase tablets. Let me look up here really quickly. I'm going to give it like 10 seconds of looking, and then we're just going to make up a number. There we go. 8,000. Yeah, I was right. So he's got a cred stick with like 7,000 on it. But it might not be a good idea to let the guy know that. Well, instead, Cord takes out his submachine guns and is going to try to make a show of intimidation, which I think is another presence check. Cord says, hand it over. Yeah, double strong successes, and the thief immediately just books it when he sees the two guns. And the smuggler, with all the face piercings, wisely thinks a stupid old data tablet is not worth the price. And he hands it over to Cord, who holsters his guns, thankful that the smuggler didn't call his bluff, because the guns have not been good for us so far. And he takes the data tablet. Let's write that down. And that checks off the mission. We've succeeded. And I think I'm going to end it there as Cord heads back down to the subway terminal and heads back to the Lucky Strike to hand over the tablet, which his name Granger, immediately makes clear, like, hey, I didn't need this thing back. But Cord, like, I don't give a shit. It's just as easy to give it back to you as it is to destroy it, and this way you have it. Now, what about your end of the deal? And Song and Granger sort of exchange looks, and then they gesture. This conversation is happening outside the Lucky Strike. They gesture down the street where their squad car is parked, and Cord realizes he's been made, and realizes he's sort of in the quote-unquote custody of two of PsyPD's finest, and just lets out a woeful sigh, knowing things just went from bad to worse real fast. And I think next session we will play out Cord being escorted to my wall under the protection of two police officers. Again, I'm really enjoying playing these little quick solo roleplay sessions. I've never done anything like this before, but my New Year's resolution is to play all the books and shit I've been buying for like the last 2 years. Stop letting it collect dust. And it's a little uncomfortable to do a solo play. It's even more uncomfortable to record myself doing it, but I don't know, it's fun to play, and I'm enjoying these shorter sessions that I can sort of play out whenever I have the time. And I'm enjoying sort of working in here, there, different material. Kind of bummed to see that the augmented reality neighborhood thing didn't really have a purpose, but I kind of expected there to be like a little foot chase scene across features in the neighborhood, but it didn't come to that. We cut down on the location real fast. Yeah. I think that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Again, I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and kind of having fun seeing how this plays out in real time, right alongside anyone who happens to be watching. So thanks for tuning in, and let's see you next time.